In this video, we'll have a look at the Form T1B for carrying back COVID benefits reported as repaid on a T4A or T4E for 2022. Let's go have a look at the Form T1B in ProFile. I'm in a T1 for 2022, and we've got the form. I just searched for it by T1B, and this is the form. Let's look at a couple of things on this form. It's to deduct federal repayments, so not provincial on this form. It also says if you're deducting the whole thing in the current year, so you don't want to carry back, you don't use this form. Another thing is that these are for repayments that are in box 201 of a T4A or box 30 of a T4E. Just go have a look at a T4A. This can be hard to find because we got box 200 at 202, but there's a box 201 here. And I put a federal of 2,000 and a provincial of 1,000. And just to show that the provincial isn't going to be carried over to the T1B. On the T4E, there's the box 30, but then there should be an entry also on this line here for a serve amount included in box 30. If you don't put the amount here, it won't carry over to the T1B. So let's go back to the T1B and see what we've got. So I've got the 2,000. So I showed the amount there. There was 2,000 federal and 1,000 provincial. If I go back to the T1B, only 2,000 is carried over to the T1B. Again, it's federal payments repaid. I can double check I've got the entries correct from the T4E. The amount will be shown on this line. The entries pull over from the T4A or the T4E, whether or not we use this form. If I make no entries on this form, then it won't be submitted to CRA, and the amount should be on other deductions. And there's a warning here. It's just a warning to make sure it wasn't deducted somewhere else, because it will be deducted on this return. So I can just right click and do a sign off. Let's see what's on here now related to the COVID repayment. So that amount for the provincial repayment, we can't elect to have it carry back to a prior year, but it will be deducted in the current year. So there should be 1,000 deducted. And this is the box 201, the box 30 of the T4E. And if we look here, there's nothing from the T1B. So the T1B won't be submitted, and the full 3,000 will be deducted on the 2022 T1. So if I go to the T1, I can see I've got the 1,000. So that's the provincial, and then the federal repayments. As we saw here, there's the 2,000, 1,000, so 3,000 and 1,000. And if we just want to double check, they're carried over to the actual tax return. Back on the T1B, so let's say I want to carry it back the whole 3,000 to tax year 2021. Let's go back to the other deductions now, and I can see I've got the 2,000 from the T4A, 1,000 from the T4E, and I'm going to carry it all back to the 2021 tax year. So that means, of course, there's nothing that's going to be deducted in the current year. And let's go back and see what this form says about how CRA is going to handle this return once we e-file it. So it says here, the CRA will automatically reassess your return or returns, as the case may be, to apply the deduction, and you do not need to make a separate request to change your prior tax years. We just file the return. I've got the amount showing here. This will be transmitted to CRA, and CRA will automatically reassess the 21 tax year in this case with the amount of the deduction, and then send a notice of reassessment. And that's it. That's how this form works. A couple of different scenarios. I hope you found this video helpful, and you can find more support options at the ProFile website. It's profile.intuit.ca, and there is a support menu item on the website.